Welcome to the KZGN News. Today we're bringing you news from Sacramento, City Council considering allowing chickens in residential area news, a motorcycle theft, water district news, last weekend's events, gas prices, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Thanks for joining us for the news. I'm Tom Whitnick. Here's news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. In news from Sacramento, we got this announcement. Senate Bill 111 is the first piece of legislation signed into law for the new state senator, Republican leader Gene Fuller, Republican out of Bakersfield. Fuller is our representative here. The bill provides needed state funds to match the federal dollars secured to modernize schools serving military families throughout California. The federal funds are set aside to repair, upgrade, and replace inadequate public school facilities located near military bases. Fuller had this comment: "I am grateful for the unanimous legislative support and the governor's signature of my bill. This is a common sense measure that will lead to California securing hundreds of millions of federal dollars for some of California's most in-need public schools. California's children deserve to learn in a clean and safe environment, and when these projects are funded, tens of thousands of students will benefit." On the Secretary of Defense priority list, California has 11 schools and 6 school districts that qualify for the Public Schools on Military Installations grant program. For every dollar that the state provides, the schools will receive $4 from the federal government, resulting in $240 million in federal funding from the government. Here's a list of the California schools around our part of California on the Secretary of Defense priority list. North China Lake, Murray Middle School. Edwards Air Force Base, Forbes Elementary School. North China Lake, Burroughs High School. Edwards Air Force Base, Desert Junior Senior High Schools, 2 of them. Again, this is not the whole list, just the ones around us here. We should see groundbreaking for the new Murray School real soon. In city news, the chickens are coming real soon. Coming soon, chickens and other farm animals living right next to you. Do you want to have chickens and other farm animals living next door to your home? Well, this is a heads up for everyone to be aware that at this week's City Council meeting, they'll be taking up changes to the Ridgecrest Municipal Code concerning what animals are permitted within residential housing zones in the city. Along with regular animals like dogs and cats and other home pets that are mostly kept inside homes, they are now considering allowing certain farm animals within residential neighborhoods. Animals such as poultry and other fowl, including chickens, geese, ducks, pigeons, doves, and others yet to be determined. According to the staff recommendation, this new ordinance will allow chickens in even the smallest residential lot, and it allows up to 4 chickens. The Planning Commission had a few meetings concerning this code revision. While there are areas of the code that just need to be updated, the provision to allow certain farm animals in residential areas is new. City animal control officers for years have not been allowing these animals in residential neighborhoods. Animal control and code enforcement officers receive numerous complaints from neighbors that have these animals next to their homes every year. Many people attending the Planning Commission meetings voiced support and opposition to the changes. The Planning Commission finally decided to not debate the issue any further and just send it to the full council, which is where it has to go anyway. There is one provision in the ordinance that states the following condition: no poultry and or other fowl shall disturb the peace and comfort of any neighbor. I have to wonder how that will be decided. In whose opinion will be the squawking and clucking of chickens, geese, and other animals be determined a nuisance? Will neighbor disputes be handled by the police department? Will disagreements be determined civil matters when one or the other disagrees with the police determination? Will neighbors be forced to use the civil court system to try and have a peaceful backyard? A peaceful backyard free of irritating farm animal noises and stink coming from their neighbor's yard? So if you have an opinion about allowing farm animals living right next door to you, no matter where you live in the city, you might want to get ready to attend this week's council meeting on Wednesday evening. The meeting will be at City Hall starting at 6 p.m. And if you oppose this change, make sure you attend, because those that have pushed for this change will be there to encourage approving this change. On tomorrow's news, I will have the full City Council agenda to report to all of you. In presidential election news, do you realize that illegal immigrants can influence a tight election? How, you might ask? I always thought that since they can't vote, that it really can't affect an election. I found out I was wrong. It's true, non-citizens cannot vote. However, presidential elections are determined by the Electoral College, not by popular vote. The answer lies in the nature of the country's Electoral College and how it bases selection of the president on the U.S. Census, which in turn credits states for total populations of both legal and illegal residents. The result is that states like Florida and California, with sizable populations of illegals, carry more clout for their number of electoral votes. The use of the Electoral College, rather than the popular vote to pick the president, means the presence of some 11 to 12 million illegal immigrants and non-citizens living legally in the United States could impact the 2016 presidential race. Only citizens have the right to vote, they say in that report. But delegates in the 1787 Constitutional Convention chose to use the Electoral College system and base it on overall population. This established that 538 electoral votes are distributed between the states. The Electoral College, not the popular vote, is how Americans select their president. Each state gets 2 electors, representing their 2 senators, and Washington, D.C. gets 3. But more than 80% of the total electorates, or 435, are distributed to the states according to members elected to the House, a number that depends on overall population. Meanwhile, the 435 seats are reapportioned every decade, reflecting census-reported population changes, and are based on the whole number of people in the states. When some states end up with large immigrant populations, they get extra seats in the House, and as a result, an edge in the Electoral College. This means states that have high immigrant populations, like California, New York, Washington, which lean Democrat, end up with more House seats and Electoral College votes than they would if they were only counting citizens. Without the immigrant populations, California would lose 5 House seats and 5 electoral votes. And New York and Washington would each lose 1 seat and 1 vote, for a total of 7 electoral votes. So, even though legal and illegal immigrants can't vote, their numbers do affect the distribution of electoral votes. And in a close election, that could be important. Now stay with us for news about last weekend's motocross event when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. At yesterday's motocross event, 2 individuals attempted to steal a motorcycle. A motorcycle was reported missing midday on Sunday. A description was put out. Since the event was well supported by Ridgecrest Police, Kern County Sheriff, PAC, CERT, and the Police Explorers, there were a lot of people searching for that motorcycle. It was finally spotted at the main entrance to the camping area. 2 Hispanic males were spotted pushing the motorcycle. The 2 were spotted and challenged by motocross officials. They dropped the motorcycle and took off running. Within minutes, the Ridgecrest Police Department were on the hunt. The 2 thieves had fled out of the motocross event area west into the city, where patrol officers took up the chase. They were spotted again in a white Toyota with damage to the driver's mirror and driver's front fender area. It was reported that the car was being driven by a female with the 2 males in the car with her. But again, they eluded the chase. If anyone has information on that car or these individuals, they are asked to contact the Ridgecrest Police Department. The motorcycle was returned to the owner. In news from the Indian Wells Valley Water District, KZGN field reporter Tanya Pyle submits this report. While the water year ends, conservation continues. This is IWV-WD General Manager Don Zadiba's message beginning this new water year. He explains the water year, as referenced in hydrology, describes a duration of 12 months when the measurement of precipitation begins October 1st. Its beginning date differs from the calendar year because part of the precipitation that falls late autumn and winter accumulates as snow, which doesn't contribute to the storage or supply until the following spring or summer's snowmelt. Weather people are forecasting a historic El Nino in California this year, but Zadiba cautions we cannot necessarily count on these forecasts becoming reality. Therefore, we must continue conservation practices adopted over the past 2 years. Governor Brown's April 1, 2015 executive order based the state's Water Resources Control Board conservation targets on the 4 to 36% range of residential gallons per capita per day from July through September 2013. Because the IWV-WD fell into the ninth and highest tier, a conservation requirement rate of 36% was ordered. Beginning this past June, continuing through February 2016, all of the 405 urban water suppliers under the jurisdiction of the State Water Control Board are required to report their monthly water consumption compared to the respective 2013 month. Conservation efforts by the IWV customers revealed a 34% consumption decrease in June, a 27% decrease in July, a 20% decrease in August, and a 19% decrease in September. Cumulatively, water consumption is down 25% compared to the 2013 three-month period. This achievement fell short of the assigned 36% target. Zediba reported, as a result of not meeting our target rate, the State Board issued a notice of violation, along with a conservation order issued August 31st. The order outlines 10 mandated actions for the IWV-WD to comply with. Failure to comply with the mandates can result in enforcement actions to Water District customers up to $500 per day. Please read Zediba's complete report posted on their website at the Water District and visit them on Twitter or like them on Facebook. Or, for Zediba's full report, visit our KZGN website. In weekend event news, we had Motocross Weekend. The Viewfinders hosted a great motocross last weekend. Sunday weather was off and on showers. It made for a real interesting day. The estimated participation was about 1,200 riders. That is way up from last year. It was a great event, and thank you to the Viewfinders for hosting a very good event. Now, in KZGN continuous effort to provide news and information you've asked for, here are today's gas prices for Ridgecrest and some surrounding areas. Well, since my report last Friday, gas prices went down 4 cents a gallon here in Ridgecrest. As of this morning, Ridgecrest is ranging from $2.95 to $3.39. Lancaster is going from $2.85 to $3.19. The LA Valley area from $2.83 to $3.09, and the Bishop area $3.42 to $3.59. We have 4 stations coming in at the $2.95 figure, and 3 stations coming in at the $2.99 figure. Tune in Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for updates. We at KZGN always suggest you shop locally to support our local economy. Remember, when you pay sales tax out of town, you are helping those cities pave their streets instead of here. Now stay tuned for weather and sports when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Keith for the weather.
Thank you, Tom. Historic flash flooding will continue across parts of the southeast, especially across the Carolinas, where as much as 2 to 4 inches of rain with locally higher amounts possible. Also, a winter weather advisory is in effect for the parts of Bishop and Mammoth Lakes, highlighted in purple. I don't think it will be enough for an early snow season, but it will make traveling through the area hazardous. Temperatures across the nation: the Carolinas 68, Georgia 68, Arkansas 67, Northern Texas 56, New Mexico 59, and Los Angeles came in at 65. For our forecast here in the IWV tonight, 20% chance of showers, mostly cloudy with a low around 60, west-southwest wind 5 miles per hour. Tuesday, partly sunny with a high near 83, west-southwest wind 5 miles per hour. Tuesday night, partly cloudy with a low around 61, south-southeast wind 5 miles per hour. On Wednesday, mostly sunny with a high near 90, west-northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Wednesday night, mostly clear with a low around 62, calm wind 5 miles per hour to the northwest. On Thursday, sunny with a high near 93, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Thursday night, partly cloudy with a low around 65, east-southeast wind 5 miles per hour. Friday, sunny with a high near 95, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Friday night, mostly clear with a low around 66, northeast wind 5 miles per hour. And on Saturday, sunny with a high near 95, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. And that is a look at your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom and the rest of the KZGN News.
Thanks, Keith. Let's go to Tom Heck with sports.
And a very pleasant Monday afternoon to everyone. Well, Major League Baseball, finally, it's done. After 162 games, it appears the Angels are going to fall just a little bit short of making the playoffs. The Angels lost on Sunday 9-2 in Arlington. Cole Hamels pitched very, very well. He went 8 full innings, only gave up 4 hits. And boy, his addition at midseason from Philadelphia really proved to be quite a gain for the Texas Rangers. So the Rangers win the American League West. The 4 games was split, 2 of the Angels and 2 for the Rangers. The Rangers now will be off until Thursday when they'll start the American League playoffs. Now the Dodgers are already in. It didn't mean much, but they swept San Diego this weekend down in San Diego. The Dodgers will get to play the Mets later in the week. The Dodgers have a better home field advantage than do the Mets. The Dodgers ended up winning 92 games. The Mets won 90. Now, the Astros had some opportunities themselves. The Astros, if they would have won on Sunday at Arizona, they did win Friday and they did win Saturday, but if they would have won on Sunday, the Astros would have actually hosted the wild card game on Tuesday. The Yankees are in a dive. Of all the times to go south, the Yankees picked the wrong time. They have lost 7 of 9 games. They got swept this weekend in Baltimore, and they came very close of not hosting that wild card game, which everybody for weeks thought they would. So another 3 or 4 games, the Yankees might not have been around the way they were going. All right, let's talk a little bit about who's going to play what with the wild card games. We'll have the rest of the schedule tomorrow, but Tuesday, the wild card game is going to feature the American League, Houston Astros at the New York Yankees. And again, the Yankees really struggling right now. However, Houston has struggled on the road all season long, so we'll see what happens there. And then on Wednesday, it's going to be a great battle in Pittsburgh. It's going to be a 5 o'clock game, and the Pirates will play Chicago in Pittsburgh. Now, the Pirates only finished the season 1 game better than the Cubs. In fact, if the Pirates would have lost on Sunday, it would have been a game played at Chicago because the Cubs actually won the regular season battle when it came to who got the most wins. Now, the Reds played the Pirates this past weekend, and if you're a Reds fan, good to know your team finally got out of a 13-game losing streak as the Reds won on Saturday. All right, American League best record, the Kansas City Royals. They outdid Toronto. The Royals not only did that, but they took away the Twins. Any chances the Twins had, they swept Minnesota this weekend. Minnesota was on the edge for a wild card. Minnesota, though, I think Paul Molitor there did a great job. He'd be my coach of the year. That team wasn't expected to do anything, and they were in it till the very end. So it's going to be fun coming up this week, the wild card in the playoffs. All right, real quickly from the NFL, Indianapolis, Carolina, Washington, Cincinnati, the Jets all winners on Sunday. Now, if you're an Oakland Raider fan, you can rejoice. They came back and they defeated the Chicago Bears in Chicago. It was a Robbie Gould 49-yard field goal at the buzzer for the win for the Raiders. Raiders off to a very good start this season, and probably one of the more disappointing teams off to a 1-3 start are the Houston Texans. The Texans beaten badly on Sunday by Atlanta. Okay, from the Pac-12 football-wise, tough night at the Rose Bowl for UCLA. They fall to Arizona State. Arizona State comes off a drubbing by USC, and UCLA comes off a drubbing of Arizona. Now, also in the Pac-12, Arizona was drubbed again by Stanford up in Palo Alto, and California, who I think is going to be a team that's got to be dealt with, they're a top 25 team, beat Washington State in a close game, 34-28. If you look at the Pac-12, there are no patsies whatsoever. Colorado looks a lot better this year than they've been. Oregon down a little bit, but it's going to be fun watching more Pac-12 games come up. USC idle this weekend. The Trojans on Thursday will play Washington at the Coliseum. That's a national TV broadcast. And let's not forget, the hero of the week, I believe, goes to Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer, the great right-hander for the Washington Nationals, former Detroit Tiger, pitched his second no-hitter of the year on Saturday. He beat the Mets 2-0. Now listen to this. He struck out 17 batters. 17 batters. The last person to do that was Nolan Ryan in 1974, when he had a no-hitter and struck out 17. Only one runner for the Mets got on base. That was on a throwing error. Boy, Max Scherzer, 2 times in one season. Our hats off and game ball to Max Scherzer. Burrows did not play this weekend. They'll play next Friday night here against Sultana. More on that as the week goes. That's your sports for this Monday. For KZGN, I'm Tom Heck.
So that's the news for today. All of the KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. Well, thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. And stay with us, for next coming up is Ridgecrest Talk. And we close with some photographs from Laura Austin from the News Review from the motocross weekend.